Hello everyone, I'm Ramithra. We're going to do a quick follow-up on this Aya stuff. Alright, so here's what happened. A lot of stuff in the comments. I'm going to talk about comments in this video. I'm going to talk about the comments specifically to the video I like just posted, not even that long ago. Like, I'm doing this as soon as I could just to get this out of the way because something was brought to my attention. And again, should always leave comments. Always find me in Lantern's Reign Discord or find me in my Discord. But that's how you can always talk to me about anything you want to ask me about. But it was in my Discord where we were talking about this Aya stuff and the trait here. So I just want to quickly talk about this. And I felt it was necessary to include... I don't know if it changes my overall opinion of this, but it does factor in to what I had said, and I hadn't thought about it. Mostly because I just don't use it very often. And that's just my own fault and my play style. So we're going to talk about that. So the thing with the Aeon Heart trait, as I mentioned from the Phoenix, so this is the Aya stuff, the Aya white box. This is a legendary trait card, or legendary AI card that gets put into the deck at random. From level 1, it's like a 33% chance, or, you know, you need to draw this trait card for sure to get it, right? It needs, it 100% needs to be drawn. You're not going to be able to get the resources at all unless this card is drawn and is in play and triggers. Thus, when it's killed, you'll get the Undying Heart. So here's the thing that you can do, or, well, here's the way you can do it, right? AI manipulation. That's what I was talking about. AI manipulation's fine. It's always going to be part of the game because of Rawhide Headband, unless they change it or something, or, you know, Wisdom Potion, even like Analyze and things like that. AI manipulation's not going away. However, there is one thing that you can do with this. You can get the final fighting art. I'm just going to use the wiki here. So the final fighting art is what you get from Watched or whatever, right? So... let's say you have Dragon King, or you need Romantic, which is easy principle. Romantic's a really good one. Most people choose Romantic anyway, but Romantic for the Settlement Principle. Then you'll get Final Fighting Art when you do Watched. Or you can get it from Dragon King. With Dragon King, you need to have more People of the Stars than you do regular Survivors. Then you'll get this. And what this is an innovation... and then once per showdown, you may select a card from the discard pile or wound stack and place it on top of the AI deck. So going back to this Death Crown Inheritor stuff, that this legendary thing, you could just go all the way through it till you get to one wound left, then use that Final Fighting Art. Now, in order to get Final Fighting Art, you need to be Lantern Year 20 through 25. That's the only time you're going to have access to it. Lantern Year 20 through 25. Once you fight the Watcher, you don't have access to it anymore. So in my case, I usually fight the Watcher right away because then you get to more oxidizing stuff. You get going faster. It looks like the Gambler might be force fought at Lantern Year 20. Who knows? But either way, that is one way of getting this. You could just, even if you wounded it off or whatever, you could wound it off so it never triggers. Because this thing also gives it +3 toughness and +1 luck tokens. And the effect of it never being knocked down is kind of like a gate to this. Like, because I said that the heart arrows are awesome, right? The heart stop arrows are still amazingly good. Like, they're beyond good. So you still have to get 2 of these resources to get them, because you need to build a bow, and then you'll need to build them themselves. So you'll have to fight Phoenix twice within those 5 years. And in Lantern, you only get 3 hunts, because one's going to be Butcher and one's going to be Kingsman before Watcher. Or no, Kingsman's after Watcher. So there's going to be a Butcher in there before Watcher if you waited all the way to full Lantern Year 25. So 2 of your 4 hunts would have to be done to doing this if you were hunting Phoenix. Now, Phoenix is good to hunt anyway if you do go down that road of hunting Phoenix. The Phoenix gear is like really good. It's also like the set itself is good, the armor set. So you'll probably want to still be hunting Phoenix, and you'll probably get this eventually. But if you were to farm it now, this is a really easy way of doing that, because you don't even get the negatives of having to deal with something when it won't be where no reactions are canceled, like at all. So you won't have to deal with that, which is huge. and then you're guaranteeing this to happen because you're just going to put it into play when it's its last wound or whatever. When it gets down to last wound, you'll say, okay, I'll put this back. Then it will draw it. This doesn't trigger another AI draw, so it's just doing it. And then stopping, since it's a trait, this will be the only card it draws. So that's something to really think about. And I didn't think about it when I was originally talking. Now, does it change my overall opinion of this gear? No. Heartstop Arrow is super good. It's really good. If you're gonna do this, if you're buying this, you're definitely getting value because those Heartstop Arrows are gonna be used probably forever. What you'll do is they're like a nemesis. Pretty much if you want to fight a one-time monster and it's really annoying. Say the king ends up being really annoying, or Griffin or Lion God, the new Lion God. Say those are like really, really, really annoying one-time fights. This won't work super well against Gold Smoke Knight or whatever, but for Griffin and stuff, if they're only doing like one AI card per turn, like Lion God does one AI card, but then the Relentless is supposed to make him do more. So if you just stop him from drawing by knocking him down, that would be it. So you just bring this to a nemesis or a one-time fight, and you just make it not act for 5 turns. Hugely powerful. You just burn through all 5 of your campaign limits, all on that one monster, on that one fight. Insanely powerful. So this doesn't change my opinion on how powerful it is. Might change my opinion on how badly it's gated now, because you could just use Final Fighting Art, basically tutor this twice really easily. So I just wanted to mention that. So that's what this video was. I felt it was very important to mention because it does affect my thinking on this. But now, since we're here, what I'm going to do is we're going to look at comments from that other video too. I'm just going to respond to a whole bunch of them because normally I would type everything out, but I figured this is something to make this video. I'm trying to do it as quick as possible. I'll also just respond to them now because there was two of them had like very long-winded stuff. All right, so let's look here at the comments. So this top one here, very glad you're going to Gen Con. Please, if you get a chance to interview someone from the Kingdom team, talk about the rules and balance. All right, I wanted to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about rules and balance unless they want to talk to me about it. Like, if Dark Tastemaker is there, I might do something about rules and balance. Otherwise, I'm just not going to. Everyone else can do that. I don't really. I do enough talking about that stuff in Lantern's Reign Discord with Tastemaker. I don't think anybody wants to really talk rules with me, and I don't want to talk about balance or anything. So I'm not going to talk rules and balance. Plenty of people who ask about delays. I agree. I'm not going to ask about delays either. I'm not going to ask about production. I will ask about lore. That's basically what I want to talk about. Lore and like future stuff. But not like, what's the one? The Fox campaign. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to talk about speculated future stuff. If I'm going to talk about future stuff, I want to talk about stuff that's in the Kickstarter too already, and maybe stuff that's hinted at, like the Butcher vignette if it's not at Gen Con, or the Nucalope if it's not at Gen Con. But lore is what I want to talk about. Lore, and then I'll do that, right? The dream thing I would do at Gen Con would be a lore interview. 100% that's what I want to do. That will be my first priority, but then I'll ask to do a second interview, second video. Since I'll be there for 2 or 3 days anyway, maybe do one day, one another day. But that is what I plan on doing with Team Death specifically. I'd much rather talk about lore. I don't want to get into all that. I will talk about delays. The only way I would ever talk about delays in production is if between now and when I'm physically at Gen Con, they met on Kickstarter, they're like, delayed a year. Then I'll obviously talk about it. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to talk about all that stuff unless Tastemaker's there. If Tastemaker's there, I'll talk about it. Maybe he'll play a game and we'll do all kinds of like rules stuff and all that stuff. But that'd be the only person. And I don't even think Tastemaker would probably want to talk about it. Even I don't sometimes feel like talking about rules with Tastemaker. So here's the thing with rules. I'm not doing it to be nitpicky. I'm doing it because there's lots of like unintended interactions with things, and there's lots of like weird ways that things can be interpreted. I'd rather just clarify the most unknown interpreted rules rather than you should fix this because it's unbalanced. I don't really care about that. I mean, I do. There's certain, like Sleeping Virus Flower could probably be something that like you balance a little bit. But like again, that's not the intent of like Kingdom Death or whatever. But like Infinite Lives, like this one. So like Infinite Lives intended to be sculptured. Yes, the Strain Fighting Arts can be sculptured. I've asked about that. I've asked Dark Tastemaker. They can be. Because you can then exchange them for Endeavor Rhythm. Yes, I do that all the time when I was doing that. Here's the difference. I was using that as a crutch because Twilight Knight in training needs crutches because you can just abruptly die to rolling a 1. Like any kind of brain trauma, I'm just going to die rolling a 1. So like I took advantage of it in that season because of the rule set. If you notice like season 1 and season 3, I'm going to take Cannibalize. I'm just going to do fun things that are not like the norm because you can totally play that way. But with that specific rule set, there was times where yes, I was abusing things that were way higher power than they should be because of the thing where the Twilight Knight will literally end your campaign. If I had returned, say I had returned from Cracks in the Ground and just rolled bad, that's it. The game was over. So like I was abusing those things. I don't think they're necessarily super unbalanceable. But again, like that stuff's getting into the weeds. So I would never want to really sit there. Because even like right now, look at the time of the video. Just talking about this ate up like 4 minutes. Imagine a back and forth. Like say Poots agreed to talk to me for an hour. Like getting on this topic would just waste my hour. So I'd much rather just have specific lore questions, just let the conversation just go naturally and have fun with it. Was surviving Barber Surgeon 5 times really a good unlock? Probably. Again, like these things are no, because you're barely ever going to die to that. The only way you would die to Trepanning is if you wanted to via the bleed tokens. There's weird stuff. You know that I should probably ask Dark Tastemaker about bleed tokens. When someone doesn't depart, are they meant to be kept? Because then maybe if you were to keep doing Trepanning 5 years with the same person, you'd have to have them depart, so at least they could remove their bleed tokens. But there's stuff that, see, like, that is the kind of things I'll ask Dark Tastemaker. When it doesn't say departing or non-departing survivors if their bleed tokens are removed. Reasoning behind Needle Sword. Okay, that is, again, that's another one with beta gear. So the reasoning for Needle Sword is probably just because that was forgotten, that it was tweaked for 1.6. So that's why that exists. Granted, now Doll hasn't seen a white box release, so that's probably a thing that will get tweaked. Now that we know how white box releases will work when they become beta content, they will see more further tweaking. We saw that with Sunlion. Maybe we'll see that with Grimmery. I was kind of hoping Grimmery would be seen soon too. We talked about that last time. Okay, so there was a cut there because I had a phone call. Back to face painting. So, like, yeah, there are those things with face painting and stuff. Yeah, you can totally do that. You can use face painting as much as you want to do intimacy, as was to be intended or tested that way. I'm sure they've tested it, but it is a thing. They're aware of it. The ideal outcome would be to establish a communication line like once a month, 30 minutes. This is with Dark Tastemaker. So in the Lantern's Reign, I should do a video. People have asked me to do videos. There's, I guess, so many videos that I get asked to do. Sure. 1, how to play Kingdom Death videos. If I were to make a how to play Kingdom Death video, I don't think it would be what everybody wants because I don't enforce the rules, right? So like if I were to do a how to play Kingdom Death, I wouldn't want to just sit there and talk about all the nuance and all these rules. I know that's what everybody would want me to do. Maybe I'll do it. But I don't. The way I play, as you can see when I record my way playing, I'm much more lenient of abusing these things. But when it comes to figuring out questions and making all these clarity, it's something I just do for the community, and then I post them in Lantern's Reign and stuff. And I talk to Tastemaker, and I try to make it so maybe we can find interactions that are worthy of going in a card pack, which is what the next thing here. His answers should be gathered in a yearly card pack. Yes, in Lantern's Reign, I have gathered all this stuff. I'm gathering all the errata that has come up from Tastemaker, all these things. Now, again, I'm not in charge of card packs or whatever, but go ahead. If Team Death wants to use if I have a whole collection, and even things that aren't collected outside Tastemaker, from when I just like talk to them in the Discord, or to them, my bad. And when I just talk to Tastemaker in the Discord, I'll collect everything, even if it's just like a passing comment, I'll collect it and throw it in that collection. So there's all kinds. I think it's up to like 120 questions now that have clarity there. I keep that on my Discord as well. I just haven't updated it on mine. I should do that. All right, let's go. Yes, so the Aya stuff. Yes, everybody's asking me about this. I would have to respond to this. That's why I made this video, because otherwise I would respond to all these. I have some other thoughts on this. Great breakdown of the stuff. Yep. Gen Con interview is awesome. Up in the store. Have fun at Gen Con. Yep. It should be fun. Let me read more on this one. Let's look at this one. Price point is definitely high. That being said, there's nothing stopping anyone from just ripping. Yeah. So yes, you could do this. You could just proxy all these cards. A little bit harder with the AI cards, but the gear you could always proxy. Proxying is something that's not against the rules. Proxying is something you can do 100%. Because they've always endorsed proxying, or not endorsed it, but you need to proxy if you're going to use 4 Grease, because there's only 3 that are included in the game. So if you ever want to bring a 4th of something, you have to proxy. So it's true, if you were to get these, you could proxy it. Again, however, these patterns are limited to one-time crafting, stuff like that. So you should definitely purchase the content. I don't use anything. If I don't own it, I don't use it in my campaign. You'll never see something that I don't own me proxying. I won't do that. My Let's Plays will always be things I own. They'll always be things that are official. None of them will be proxy. Those are the seasonal Let's Plays. Other things I might explore, community creations, community content, and all that stuff, because I think that's also fun. Regional printer would be, yeah, you could get all this stuff. So yes. Again, the Sun Lion stuff is really like how to put this? So it's kind of like comparing books in an RPG, a tabletop RPG. We'll just use Dungeons and Dragons, right? This comes up commonly in Dungeons and Dragons. One of my favorite books is the Eberron Setting book. That one is super good, the Eberron Setting book. The Eberron Setting book is one book where you have everything. The monsters, a little campaign, all the new rules, all the classes, it's all in there. Plus all like the overarch of the setting, how to run this campaign. It's all in one book. And now, future releases broke that book into 3 separate books. You get just as much content in that Eberron book. There's actually more in the Eberron book than in that there wasn't Planescape. I'm looking forward to Planescape. Oh man, am I looking forward to Planescape books. I know the one's coming. But not Planescape. What was it? The Booze, Astro Menagerie, whatever that collection was. Why can't I remember what the name of that collection was? So we're going to do quick jump in since I was editing. I figure I'll just get the examples. So here it is. This is an Eberron book. This is a setting book. It's one big book. It's 320 pages. One big book. It has everything that you'd expect from a setting book. You can run the setting here. You can do everything you want from in here. It tells you how to run it. It gives you a little adventure. Really small one. Gets classes in here. Monsters are all in here. Magic items. A lot of stuff is all in here. How to play an Eberron. It's all in here. One book. Currently, this is $27 on Amazon. This is the other one. It's called Spelljammer. I couldn't think of the name, so I'm making the cut because I couldn't think of the name and it was bothering me. Spelljammer, right? It's literally the same exact thing, only it's divided up into 3 books, and each one of these books is 60 pages. So this is 320 pages. This is 60 pages, but in 3 different books. This is $39 on Amazon. So 27, same exact thing, 39. So the point I was going to make with Lunar is the same mini. It's 2 of them, right? So you get the old white box content was the regular white box content. It's like $25 to $30 or whatever US, right? And it gets 1 card and 1 gear, like all the other things, like old, before the wall, after the wall. I know those are old. Let's go to a newer one. Even if you were to look at like Sword Hunter or whatever that was mentioned in the comment as well. Sword Hunters, you get the basic hunt event, a settlement event, and then the sword itself, and that was still only like $30. Now with the Lunar one, It's $60, and you get the norm, what you'd expect. So this is what you'd expect from the white box, right? This is the smaller lunar. This is the one card, the one hunt event, and the one gameplay miniature. And then what you get is this. The reason why the example I was trying to make is this is the same exact thing. It literally is the same exact thing. It's just a paint. This is like the equivalent of a painter's scale, right? It's something that you might not want if you're not going to DM. If you're a player, you only want the middle of this. So you're not going to use all this stuff. You might not even really want like this cumbersome 3-book thing with this nice sleeve and all that. You might not even really want that. Let's say you actually did want a painter's scale with the lunar thing. The lunar, it's the same mini twice. That was my example here. That's why I use this example. It's not the best example in the world. It was just an example I came up with. I already committed to it in that video when I was trying to do it really quickly because, again, I have phone calls, getting back to work and all that stuff. But it was not the best example, but now it's a little bit better. I actually showed it. So back to what we were talking about. And the basic hunt stuff that's in Lunar is awesome. I wish they would do more basic hunt events. We've seen from the Gambler's Chest that they're going to have Arc Survivor hunt events and Scout hunt events. So all good. That's my long-winded response to this. So now unofficial means what you're talking about here. Unofficially, there are ways of there are things that unofficial homebrew and stuff and community edition and homebrew that expand the hunt event the way that this comment's talking about, where you have a deck of 100 cards. It's called Tracks of Death by CCG. It's really cool. You should check it out for sure. A lot of work in there. The way that works is you get 100 cards of the hunt events that are in the game, and then they change and alter, and you add more in and stuff like that. Tracks of Death's really cool. So that's my response to that. Price point, again, I just talked about price point. But thank you for all the comments. I'll respond to all these things. Thank you for watching. Season 4 is not over. So here's what the Aeon's Trespass video. I'm just not happy with it. The Aeon's Trespass video is basically this video 5 to 6 times longer. There's no gameplay in it, and I'm just reading a book, and I'm talking about things. Not that that's bad. I just don't like it. It was hard to edit. It was like 2.5 hours. I don't like it. I don't like it. I know everybody wants me to release it. I think I'm just going to re-record it. I've been re-recording with... like I said, in the other video, I got a new C-stand, so I have something that actually points directly down. And I was recording Townsfolk Tussle, and because I'm only doing a final fight in Townsfolk Tussle, and I'm going to play through it, the other 2 fights in there are very brief overviews. And I've been recording them. I haven't finished it yet. And the way I'm going to edit that, where I'm going to try to get like a 10-minute montage that sums up those other 2 fights, and then we'll have our final fight. That's what the holdup's been. As I've also mentioned, I was busy for the last 2 weeks, right? Looking into buying gear and stuff like that for bringing to Gen Con, and then booking hotels, talking Gen Con, trying to get a press badge, all those things. But looking into lab mics, plus trying to do all my taxes, doing all this stuff. I had dentist appointments, I had glasses appointments. So I've just been really busy for the last 2 weeks and stuff. But Season 4 is definitely coming back. I'm not stopping doing it. So hopefully this was a unique way of doing this video. I just really wanted to talk about that thing specifically. And I saw there was a bunch of comments, so I figured I'd just respond to all the comments this way. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.